French streamer died taking part in a live broadcast on
Kick streamer has passed away.
A French streamer has passed away in his sleep on stream.
Jean Parmenov.
Jean Parmenov.
Jean Parmenov.
Jean Parmenov.
Money and fame can bring the worst in people. Some streamers will do anything for views, even if it means ruining the life of an innocent man. Jean Parmenov was a broken and lonely man who was promised a better future, but instead was slowly tortured to death by his so-called friends. And it wasn't some underground broadcast either. They would constantly get 10,000 of viewers, peaking with 20k even.
Never would I ever in my life degrade somebody where I'm beating them up on stream. No. Never. That's like, why would you waste your energy? And there's even people out there that like watching that stuff. You beat them up. You gave them a black eye. Bro, I literally, on my Twitter timeline, I hate seeing it. I hate seeing death on my Twitter timeline. That's all it was for like a year straight when Elon first bought Twitter, or X, whatever. It was all literally just people dying. And I had to say, not interested. I don't like that stuff, bro.
Arguably the biggest streamers in the whole France. Just try to imagine thousands of people watching, laughing in chat and donating money to them to keep humiliating Jean. But what's even worse, Kick, the platform where these streams were broadcasted on, they knew exactly what was going on all along. And not only they didn't do anything about it, they even used Jean to promote their Kick merch. And now, when it's not so fun to torture a man to death and you have to meet real-life consequences, a man behind these streams plays a victim card and files a cyberbullying complaint. Now that's absolutely disgusting. Today we are going to have a look at a very sad and depressing story of Jean Parmenov. And to understand the whole story, we first have to start from the beginning. Jean Parmenov, by his real name Raphael Greven, was a 41-year-old man.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this here. I know I'm on Kick. But why at first was it all just people like doing absolutely crazy stuff on Kick? Killing each other, injecting needles into people, and what was it? The child predator stuff, where they were like beating up predators on stream until they got banned. Like, okay, now that's something controversial. I get it. Like, to have a take on that, and I'm not gonna. I think that beating somebody up on a live stream just shouldn't happen. It should be, okay, there's a YouTube. You can pay for the Patreon to watch the whatever. Just like, should just be against the guidelines.
He didn't have any friends.
Unless it's Aiden Ross's brand risk where they have to sign up for it. Like, that's okay. That's acceptable.
With a woman, he lived alone with his mom.
And then I'm already seeing the comments. Oh, but they're pedos. They're pedos. I get it, bro. But like, there's also kids on that platform watching that. Am I wrong? If I'm open to changing my mind.
Go to work and lived off welfare money. And in 2018, he decided to give streaming a shot. He opened a Twitch account under username Jean Parmenov. He mostly played games like GTA or Fortnite, and he raged a lot.
Bro, don't say that I have the same hairline as him right now. I see you in there. You're about to type it. I do not have the same hairline.
And even though Jean seems angry in these clips, he was overall pretty happy, as now he has people to talk to in chat. Sure, 5 people isn't a lot, but for a lonely person like Jean, it was enough. And despite not a lot of people turning into his streams, he was going viral on TikTok, where people shared clips of his rages. It didn't take long and Jean was discovered by a big French streamer named the Kyrie78. He invited him for some games, and thanks to Jean's impulsive personality, Kyrie's chat really liked Jean.
Putain, sérieux, je t'entends que ça, putain, j'entends que toi. J'entends même plus mon jeu, gros.
Content of these collab streams consisted of constant rage baiting and trolling Jean, because it was very funny to see him rage. For example, people would send funny donations to troll Jean.
Ton chien s'appelle comment?
Chouquette.
Chouquette.
Une femelle. Ouais.
Attends,
Chad would call Jean old, they would make fun of his stutters, they would call him trash at the game. However, despite that, Jean understood his role in the streams. And nobody really likes to be punching back for Chad, but if that means you will get paid well, since a lot of people were sending Jean donations, and if you look at his stats, his streams really took off. He even doubled down on being that rage guy, and he created a YouTube channel where the fact that he rages is basically the main content. And on these videos he would pull good views as well. And the streamer Kyrie, who Jean streamed with, would also give him some revenue from the stream, since he was making a lot of money from these collab streams with Jean. So nobody really knows what was happening inside of Jean's head, but from being super lonely and living off welfare's money to making easily $10,000 a month, being an internet celebrity of some sort, and having people to talk to in chat and IRL, I think he might saw this as a good thing actually. But that was about to change. See, Kyrie had a secret. He was dating a minor, and when Jean found out about it, he was disgusted, and so he cut ties with Kyrie completely. And while people respected his decision, Jean's career, on the other hand, was about to be destroyed because of this. His business...
Now that's where you draw the line. Dude, that's actually... Oh, I know we got 32 minutes for this, so I gotta stop pausing it, but dating a minor? I would cut ties. I think you can make it on your own, bro. You could definitely make it on your own. W-Mans.
This model was built on rage baits and overreactions, and Jean just simply cannot farm rage clips if there is no one to make him rage. He needed someone to stream with, a partner. The problem was that nobody from relevant streamers really wanted to, since Jean had pretty awful reputation due to his antics and because of associating with Kyrie in the first place. It seemed like Jean's story would end here, but there were two guys who took advantage of the situation. Their names were Safin and Owen. They already knew Jean and Jean knew them, as they were seen with him hanging out on Kyrie's streams. So I guess it was kinda natural to start streaming with them. It was a simple trade. Jean at the time had around 600k followers, while they had only something around 100k. Therefore, they would get exposure and easy content, and Jean on the other hand would have people to stream with, his career wouldn't die, and maybe they would even be big friends. They started doing content together, as always playing GTA, Fortnite and other games, while clip farming and rage baiting Jean.
Ah vas-y, putain derrière toi, tu tiens même pas. Pourquoi il tire encore l'autre? Je vais mourir. Ah voilà. Bon, mais sérieux gros, ouais putain.
Owen even decided to help Jean by running his social and posting clips, which
the rage baiting wasn't...
That resulted in Jean's views to go from few hundred to 8,000 in a span of few days.
Et après, il a regardé mes réseaux, il a dit ouais, t'as pas de réseau, t'as rien. Bon, à l'époque, les réseaux, ouais, je m'en foutais quoi. Moi, je faisais mes trucs, le réseau, je savais pas. Avec le réseau, tu pouvais voir plus de monde.
Pepazilla. By the way, Pepazilla, if you see this again, you commented on one of my old videos way back that got 10k views, that I reacted to one of your videos, and I just want to say, I appreciate you, your editing's good, keep up the editing.
De Twitch, parce que de Twitter, parce que avant j'avais Twitter, mais j'avais quoi, pas beaucoup quoi, 120 personnes quoi, j'ai vu tout mon entourage, et après en même pas une semaine, en 2 jours, je me suis dit, attends, c'est quoi ce bordel, 1000 personnes qui est venue sur mon live, je fais, oh, ça a foutu quoi. Et je lui demande, ah non, j'ai juste repartagé la game qu'on a fait ensemble, et puis ça revient plus aux gens, puis voilà, comme ça qu'on s'est lancé.
Owen and Safin often hang out with Jean after the stream. They talked in the voice channel or just played COD. And at that moment, Jean saw it as a miracle. He saw it as a big opportunity for his career, and he felt like he finally has friends.
Ils étaient sur mon live.
That's all we want in this world, man.
Ouais, et on va dire qu'après le live, j'ai coupé le live et puis...
We all just want friends. We want somebody to talk to.
On a fait Call of Duty, je crois. On a joué ensemble à Call of, et après on était sur le local.
It's like the lonely nights when you're single. You ain't got a girl to talk to, but your boys are there. Your boys are there. They got your back, bro. All the time.
que le vocal pour parler avec eux, déballer mon sac, on va dire.
Ouais.
For Jean, this was life-changing.
On sait.
Ah ouais, donc tu pourrais dire que en fait, votre rencontre, ça a changé ta vie, quoi.
Voilà, oui, exactement.
After 3 months, Owen came up with an idea to make a streaming house, to broadcast together from there. And this is where the violence started, basically. After they moved to streaming house, they would mostly play games and rage bait Jean. But little by little, Owen and Safin were pushing the bar of what they can do to Jean. And with each new stream, it was getting worse and worse. It started off pretty lightly. In this clip, they hit him with these pool noodles. You can clearly see that Jean didn't really like that. And even though pool noodles don't really hurt, it was a beginning of something much more sinister. Now, I don't know how much I can show these clips without getting my channel terminated from YouTube, as it's literally a person getting tortured. But I'll try my best to give you full picture of what was going on these streams. Here you can see this guy punching Jean with boxing gloves, while Jean just screams. Then they spray him with a paintball gun, and
Bruh.
while Jean is screaming at them,
It's
they just
literally-
dance.
Bro, it's literally a torture room. Look at this. And this guy's just sitting here.
This is awful, but it didn't stop there. In this clip, Owen watches Safin stream himself drifting, speeding, and taking road bumpers on purpose. While this whole time he had Jean in the trunk.
In the trunk?
Regarde le dos d'homme à 80.
One thing they really liked doing to Jean was choking, but in a special way. They would grab and squeeze his thyroid, which not only is painful as hell, it also can reduce blood flow to your brain, it can block airflow and can be fatal even. So it's easy to say it's dangerous as fuck. But what's way worse, and probably is even the reason why they were doing it in the first place, Jean Permanov has a thyroid gland disorder, and he takes medication for it. I wasn't able to find exactly which disorder is it, but it can be only these two from the following options. First, his thyroid is hyperactive and it produces too much hormones, which makes his heart rate faster and can bring to hypertension. Second option is his thyroid is not active enough and it makes his heart rate slower with an irregular heartbeats. So Owen and Safin were strangling him and were doing their thyroid challenges, as they call it. Basically, they were putting a lot of pressure on the area where his health problems are from and making it way worse than it already was. That is just straight up evil. I'm going to play the clips now. They can be pretty disturbing, so if you don't want to look at it, you can skip to this timestamp. I'm gonna give you like 3 seconds for you to skip.
We're watching it.
Alright, let's go.
Bro, that is terrible. What is this? This was allowed?
Le temps libre, tu te rends pas compte du nombre de personnes qui auraient...
Ensuite, il nous a rencontrés.
Mais non. Non, mais tu...
Ouais, vas-y.
Regarde, là, les lives, ça
Attends.
This ain't worth it, bro. This ain't worth it. Get out, bro.
And let me remind you, this was going on for 3 long years. The level of insanity rised with each stream. And
Okay.
the clips got way
If you let it happen to you for 3 years, though, 3 years? Whose fault is it?
worse.
I guess he feels like he has no choice. I could see that.
And you might have a lot of questions. For example, why doesn't Jean just leave? I mean, he lived somehow before he
here we go.
started streaming, and surely he doesn't want to live like this, being tortured for views. Another question is, how does Kick allow this on their platform? They had 10k concurrent viewers on average, peaking with 20k. That's a lot.
Maybe
I
we're
think
gonna
they
get
were
some
the
answers.
biggest streamers in France at some point. So Kick, surely, must be aware of what's happening on these streams. And lastly, why in the world would Owen and Safin do this? Let's start with Owen and Safine. Simply put, where is demand, there is supply. And I was really thinking hard on why do people watch this content. And I feel like humans are drawn to shocking, dangerous content because it evokes strong emotions in them. And the more you watch this, the more desensitized you become. And at some point, people see it more as entertainment. They watch this so they could feel better about themselves. Also, if you see thousands of people chatting in chat, donating, laughing, you feel less responsible for what's happening on the screen.
True. And so let me say this too, because that's a very valid point. Recently, Arizona, I live in Arizona, just banned porn. Technically, it's not banned, but you have to submit an ID. I haven't been on the I'm gonna call it corn. I haven't been on corn for, I don't know, since high school. So I couldn't tell you two things about submitting your ID, but I think that extra step of having to submit your ID makes me even want to go further away from it. And so I saw something recently that after they did that, Pornhub filed bankruptcy, or they closed down. Isn't that a little weird? Isn't that very weird? Now that you have to submit your ID to record corn, to sign up on corn, they file for bankruptcy? They're not even hiding it anymore, chat.
It's called group psychology. The internet creates emotional distance. Watching through the screen makes it easier to perceive abuse as less real. And that's absolutely messed up. 10,000 people on average were watching Jean get tortured live for 3 years. And there was only one investigation launched. Only one. And it was dismissed soon after. But while the investigation was ongoing, they had one viewer call them and this is what he had to say.
On les encule, nous. Arrêtez de faire les salopes, wesh. Arrêtez de faire les salopes. Pendant 3 semaines, vous êtes un Mediapart par-ci, les médias, on dirait des salopes. Vous avez peur.
Après le dernier live, il a quand même pris une rafale de claques à 90%.
Frérot, c'est trop, revenez.
So you can clearly see that some people do find this funny. They see it as entertainment. That's just insane. Another reason why Owen and Safine were doing this was money. Now, when they started, they had deal with Kick, but I wasn't able to find on how much was it exactly. However, when Kick saw that they pulled big numbers, they offered them 600,000 euro. Yeah. They do bring this number up here and there, but there wasn't really any official statement that the number is this high. However, I do believe they get paid ridiculous money. Kick is known for giving insane numbers in these contracts. So take that number, and plus they would get a lot from donations as well. Simply put, Safine and Owen were filthy rich. Okay. This method was insane money printing machine for them, and Jean was only a tool for them. I doubt they saw him as a human being even.
Y a rien de malsain à détruire JP pour du buzz. Et ça, c'est la phrase du live, les amis. Merci pour cette intervention.
For example, in this clip, Jean announces his dog's death, who he loved with all his heart.
À la porte, quand je vais rentrer à la maison, voilà, ça me fait chier. Sérieux? Moi je t'aimais bien.
How can he laugh at someone's dead dog? Jean cried as he was saying it, and these two dumbasses just laugh about it. That's crazy. And in this clip, Owen insults Jean's mom by calling her a bitch.
Je lui avais dit, écoute, qu'est-ce que tu fous avec eux? Et puis, d'après ce que j'ai compris, il était un peu bloqué avec eux, quoi.
Tu veux qu'on respecte tes parents, on les respecte. On respecte les nôtres.
Non, après je t'explique, parce que je t'ai dit que
And guess what? These people that made all this quick money, beating these guys up, or beating this guy up that ended up killing him, are they still making the same amount of money? Probably not.
Attends, mais il y a un fondement derrière, frérot. Ta mère, elle te fait élever. Frérot, elle voit qu'elle a un fils handicapé de 40 ans. Bon, il avait 40 ans quand il était handicapé. Mais frérot, t'es...
So why in the world would Jean stay? Why couldn't he just leave? Well, technically he could, but what is he gonna do? He gets paid good money. It's not public how much he was getting exactly from the 600k euro revenue, but it was definitely not a small amount. And if he leaves, he won't be able to make this much money ever in his life. He would go back to his mom and live off welfare money again. And he felt like if that happened, he would be a complete failure. We can't forget that for the most part of his life, he was lonely. As I said before, he never really had friends.
Moi, elle vit où? Elle est
À Metz.
à Metz.
Ouais.
So that's why you need to start building your friend group. You need to start finding friends, becoming important, providing value, building a skill. This is... this is going to be the result, bro. You're going to get beat up on stream.
Puis,
That's a
quand à Metz, bon, je sortais pas trop, j'essayais de manger chez moi, je restais dans ma chambre, j'essayais devant l'ordinateur.
At first, I'm pretty sure Owen and Safine wouldn't treat Jean too bad. Sure, they would make fun of him on the streams, but that was just content. Then they would probably just get a beer and hang out, as they used to do before in the voice channels, to make him feel wanted, to gain his trust. But I'm sure somewhere down the line, they stopped and it turned into just purely humiliating Jean.
Oh putain, c'est devenu un ventilateur. Oh putain, le ventilateur.
Jean wasn't doing this for himself. He was doing it for the better future. He wanted to build a house, start a family, and live a better life. Because up to this point, he felt like he's failing in life and this is his only chance.
Moi, ce qui me préoccupe en ce moment, c'est de laisser une trace, on va dire, un enfant, quoi.
Ouais.
Tu sais que j'ai peut-être un fils ou une fille, et puis qui a perdu...
Oui. Tu te vois comment, toi, dans 10 ans?
Dans 10 ans, femme, enfant, maison, avoir assez d'argent pour voyager, d'avoir mon père, ma mère à côté de moi, mes frères et sœurs. Peut-être acheter un terrain, puis construire plein de maisons pour que la famille...
Un petit
voilà.
hameau familial.
Exactement.
Damn.
Owen and Sophie knew that this is...
Damn. Let me pull up chat again. Watch this to see... What the hell? Watch this Discord to see my... I'm good, bro. Get it out of here! Okay, good. I was like, what the hell?
This is his plan. They manipulated him into thinking that if he leaves, he will never have a chance to start a family, have wife, kids, he will die alone. They made it seem like they're giving him a chance of his life, so he better continue streaming with them. There are also some other forms of manipulation going on, because Jean would get constantly humiliated on the streams. So you can only imagine what happened off camera. In these clips...
What if he started training? What if he just like went and hit the gym and then became like huge muscles?
He's old, he's a failure, dumb, and it's honestly disgusting.
T'es vraiment un bon à rien, fils de putain de JP. Hein. Tu sabotes tout, ça, le fils de pute. Hein. Tu sers vraiment à rien. Hein. Tu es le plus gros fils de pute que j'ai jamais vu de ma vie, sale fils de pute. Y a que Koudou qui est bien.
Oh le Corse. On va les couilles. Oh le Corse. Absolu de cinéma.
C'est bien. T'es énervé? On dirait, hein. Bon, je sais pas, t'as peut-être envie de gigoter ou je sais pas, mais rien que ton regard, comment t'étais hier, en mode où tu me fusilles, je crois que ça c'est normal. Rien que ça. Je sais pas si c'est normal, non. Mais tu t'écoutes pas en fait quand tu parles. Le manque de respect, mais tu parles, c'est un truc de dingue. Les fils de pute, les nique ta mère, les j'en sais rien, les tout ça là. C'est un homme ça? Est-ce que ça c'est un homme? Est-ce que tu te rends compte, JP, que t'as 45 ans? Je sais pas si tu...
And when you're constantly fed this information, you start believing it. So yet again, another reason...
Damn, you let a girl tell you that. Never.
...to stay, because here you can at least make some money.
Est-ce que JP, tu restes uniquement au local pour l'argent?
Ouais.
Et j'en ai une deuxième. Est-ce que si tu pourrais partir, tu partirais?
Ouais.
S'il n'y aurait pas les contrats et tout.
À l'heure actuelle, est-ce que tu aimerais arrêter les lives?
Ça dépend des trucs, ouais. Des fois oui.
And of course, with all that pressure, there were multiple times when Jean just had enough and he decided to leave the stream.
Voilà, niquer ta mère, va pas te faire enculer. J'en ai marre de me faire traiter chaque fois. J'en ai marre, va niquer tes morts. Voilà, va niquer tes morts. C'est bon.
It's hard to watch this, man. I wanna skip to the end to find out like what's going on here.
It's really dark. Because on 10th of August 2025, Owen would announce a 10-day marathon. And for Jean, it didn't really go well.
Stop, stop, stop. Doucement, doucement. Hey, putain, fils de pute.
It was 10 days of straight up torture on steroids basically. As with people watching these streams, you always have to bring in something new to the table. You always have to raise bar of violence and shock value to keep viewers interested in the content and entertained. They even had Jean chained at some point. Now they don't even hide the fact that he's just a dog to them. They would even go as far as depriving Jean of sleep by constantly waking him up. Anytime it looked like Jean is gonna fall asleep, they threw a random object at him so he would wake up. And this is especially dangerous for Jean's heart, as sleep deprivation can lead to increased blood pressure, reduced oxygen supply, higher risk of heart attack, and so much more. There is dozen problems that come with not being able to sleep. Because shocker, your body needs to actually rest sometimes. What's crazy to me is that Owen and Safine were smart enough to think about what's gonna happen if Jean will maybe die, who knows? Which is so crazy to openly discuss when the person you're talking about sits right next to you. And eventually they make him say that if he dies, it's not their fault basically.
Que si demain il meurt en plein live, c'est dû à son état de santé de merde et pas nous.
Non.
Comme ça, non, du tout. Comme ça, non.
They did that to maybe be not responsible after, but that's just ridiculous. It's just so bizarre. I feel like Owen and Safine completely lost touch with reality, and they genuinely think that JP is not human anymore. The way they treat him is just, I don't know, insane. During this marathon, they snatched JP's phone and they went through messages with his mom, where he tells her that he wants to leave. And so they decide to read messages out loud, mock him and laugh at him.
Maman, comment tu vas? Coincé pour un moment avec son jeu de mort. Je te regarderai ce soir. Je pense que là, ça va trop loin, elle a dit.
On 18th of August, Owen wakes up and as usual throws a bottle at JP. However, this time JP doesn't react. So Owen walks over to him and starts slapping him. Still no reaction. Then they realize that Jean probably died and stream cuts off. The clip goes extremely viral. It's all over social media. It's everywhere basically.
And all the way through it, apparently constant little reminders from Owen explaining to JP that he couldn't give up even if it meant Owen ending up in prison to force him to stay. The only escape offered was to kiss the other vulnerable person with tongue for 3 minutes.
It's very clear this isn't a man they respected. This is someone they treated like a human punching bag.
It also got French national television talking about it.
Il est mort lundi matin dans ce lit, on le voit au premier plan, après 298 heures de direct, 12 jours non-stop, devant des milliers d'abonnés.
Sa mort en direct sur une plateforme vidéo a choqué la France. À longueur de la Raphaël Graven, alias Jean Pomanov, subit...
To think that he went down in history like this kind of sucks.